the changes that USDA are proposing is to limit some of the areas that they're going to do. They're going to allow you to buy a home because of the 2010 census. These areas now are not considered rural areas, particularly Chelsea, Calera, some of the Leeds area, some other areas that have been USDA for so long. Now, as of yesterday, I talked to Cynthia Smith at USDA, and they have not gotten any indication from Washington, D.C. that those are affected. That was just that was a proposed area because they are now over the population for USDA. If someone has a contract and they have actually signed an application, which we call a 1003, prior to March the 28th, then they will still be able to get that house if the guidelines change. That's if they change. But they have no idea as of right now if they're going to change or not.
Does this have to do with funding, or is it more just areas?
Just areas.
So funding's not really a...
Funding is not an issue at this point. Normally that happens in September because their fiscal year ends September 30th. And so they start losing funding closer to their fiscal year.
Besides USDA, if you're looking for very low down payment home loan financing choices, Jackson says there are other options.
The Alabama Housing Finance Authority has what we call the Alabama bond money, where they can basically 0.5% to 1% down, depending on what the seller is going to pay. They can borrow 3% of their 3.5% down payment. It is an FHA loan where they will let them borrow 3%. It's a second mortgage. It's a 10-year term, same interest rate as their first, which is typically about 0.25% more than the normal FHA rate. So 3.25. Alabama Housing right now is 3.5. But there is 0.5% to lock the rate, which is their commitment fee, if you do a 15-day lock. So if the seller is not willing to pay that, that's why I say it could be a 1% down payment, basically 1% fee, because you got your 0.5% for your down payment and then 0.5% to lock the rate. So that's an option. And those limits, income limits, are higher than USDA income limits for a family less than 5.
As to whether this is a good time to be thinking about buying a home, Jackson says there is no question about it.
Now's the time to buy. Rates are still historically low, and they're not going to stay this way forever. So if somebody's sitting on the fence, now's the time to take action.